Thank you, Jack. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Congress is broken, and I'd like to help fix it. My name is Bosse, and I'm running for Congress so that we can return our federal government to its core priorities: a strong national defense, secure borders, and an economy free from the taxes, overregulation, and unfunded mandates that are slowing down its economic growth. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. As Jack said, I grew up in Hillsborough, was a reporter around here, WGIR in Manchester. I went up to Lebanon, WTSL, where, as he said, I won a couple of awards for Best Newscast, Best Election Coverage, and Best Political Talk Show. I know Sergeant at Arms, is that $1? So we'll leave that here. During that time, I also worked with members of the community. I covered select boards and school boards and town meeting, the last form of true democracy. We worked with local charities like the Listen Center and the United Way of the Upper Valley. Lebanon Rotary Club asked me to host their annual Rotary radio auction, which they do every year up there, and we raised $40,000 in a single day. And I got to know the people that are giving their time and energy back to their community because they know that being part of a community means community service. At the State House in Concord, I worked for some extraordinary men and women who put their names on the ballots for the right reasons, not the power, not the glory, not the $100 a year, but in the honest belief that they could be their town's voice in Concord. They could be heard among that group of 400 people in the third largest legislative body in the English-speaking world. For the last 5 years, I've been working for Senator John Sununu in Washington. I've been very proud to do that. But during those 5 years, I've seen a Republican Congress lose its way in a maze of earmarks and backroom deals. I've seen a Democratic Congress take over, adopt the same bad habits, and invent a few new ones. Just this week, Nancy Pelosi broke House rules by holding open a vote. House took a vote, she didn't like the way it was turning out, the bill was going to pass, and she wanted to put her own version of the bill in. So instead of abiding by the will of the majority of our elected representatives, she held the vote open, twisted some arms, got a couple of freshman Democrats to change their votes, and then when the vote was her way, she gavelled it closed. That was the ethics bill. And if you have to cheat to pass the ethics bill, I think it's time to send some new people down to Washington. The first responsibility of our federal government has to be our national defense. I see Iraq and Afghanistan as battles in a larger war. Islamic fascism is an evil ideology that wants to bring a new dark age upon the world. Quite simply, those are the stakes, and I think we need to win. A year ago, we changed our mission in Iraq. I think a lot of people grew frustrated. It didn't appear as if we were trying to win. We weren't changing our tactics and our strategies to meet the changing situation on the ground. General Petraeus proposed the surge, and that included additional U.S. troops, specifically in Baghdad. But more important than the additional troops was the change in tactics on the ground. Those tactics are working, and we have made tremendous progress over the last year. Paul Hodes, our current congressman, voted against the surge a year ago. His words, it was too little, too late. And he said it wasn't going to work. Well, it has worked. He just got back from Baghdad, and he's admitted that the surge is working. But he won't admit that he was wrong a year ago to oppose it. They played games with our troop funding. They had a chance to pass a clean troop funding bill, but they loaded it up with hundreds of unrelated pork barrel projects. These earmarks with no accountability. You didn't know about them until the vote passed. You didn't have a chance to call your congressman and say, get rid of them. Paul Hodes voted against every attempt to strip those earmarks from the troop funding bill. Fortunately, Senate Republicans and a number of Democrats insisted on a clean bill. We got a clean bill. Paul Hodes voted against it. You can't have a secure nation without secure borders. The American people have quite frankly lost all confidence that Congress is serious about enforcing our immigration laws. As a first step to restore that confidence, we need to build the fence along our southern border that Congress has promised us. They said they were going to build a fence, they refused to fund it. Paul Hodes voted against funding it just this last year. He just got back from San Diego. He saw the border fence along the Tijuana border. The same fence that is reducing violent crime and illegal drugs in downtown San Diego. The fence I saw last year when I was there. The fence that is working. He saw the fence, came back to New Hampshire and said, what we need is a virtual fence. Traffic cameras, motion detectors, that sort of thing. Well, just this month, the Department of Homeland Security announced that their 28-mile, just 28-mile pilot project was going to be delayed another 3 years. It's not working. The virtual fence is virtually useless. I think we need an actual fence. But the good news is you can keep both of us happy. You can virtually vote for Paul Hodes, and then actually vote for me. After years of robust growth, our economy is slowing down under the weight of taxes, mandates, and overregulation that Congress is putting on it. We're not allowing small businesses to become bigger businesses, to take risks. We punish risk-taking through taxes and through regulations. And that's slowing down our economic growth. We just had a stimulus package, and I know when I get my check, I'm going to use it. And the little bit we get back of our own money, and actually our children and grandchildren's money, because we're borrowing to give ourselves this stimulus package, that little bit we get is going to help some people, but it's not going to stimulate the economy. What we really need to do is get Congress out of the way. So the next time Congress wants to speed up our economy, instead of putting their foot on the gas, I'd like them to take their foot off the brake. Part and parcel of this growth in government that's slowing our economy are these earmarks I mentioned. It is an inherently corrupt process to have secret earmarks without public accountability at the whim of individual members of Congress. Paul Hodes wants to reform the system. I don't think we can reform it. I think we need to abolish it. We're making progress on this. Senator McCain, Senator DeMint down in the Senate have proposed a one-year moratorium on earmarks so that for 2009, Congress will kick the habit and get rid of earmarks for just 1 year. They've gotten Senator Obama and Senator Clinton to sign on to it, so miracles can't happen. The House has been a little more reluctant. Nancy Pelosi's talking about all sorts of loopholes in this that would leave more hole and less donut when you finally get the bill passed. I am hopeful that the House will adopt real earmark reform, but we'll wait and see what Nancy Pelosi and Paul Hodes come up with. Paul Hodes, in my opinion, has been wrong on national defense. He's been wrong on immigration. He's been wrong on federal spending and earmarks. I think we can do better. I believe in free speech, free people, and free markets.